John Meeks here with CrossFit Greensboro and War of the Wods, releasing the workouts for War of the Wods. I'm here with Bruce Fields, who is going to be demonstrating the judge's position today, and Mason, who's going to act as our athlete today. The first workout we are releasing is individual workout number 1, the arena. Okay? This workout is a timed ladder. Basically, at the count of go, an athlete will have 1 minute to run into the ladder. There'll be 10 bars set up, in which they'll lift as many of those bars as possible with the given movement for their division. The actual calculation for this will be the load that they lift, not the maximum weight that they get to on the ladder. So, with the men's weights, it's going to start off with 95 pounds, go up to 115, 135, 155, 175, 195, 215, 225, 235, 245, and 255. With the women's weights, it's going to go 55, 75, 95, 105, 115, 125, 135, 145, 155, 165, 175, 185. Now here are a couple of stipulations with this ladder. As they come in, they can only go up, they can't go down. So you could start at 225, but you can only go up from there. Or you can start at the beginning and go from there. It's wherever you want to start within the ladder is where it starts for you. Okay? If you get to a weight that you cannot lift, okay, so if you go through the ladder, you get 3 lifts in and you can't lift the next weight, for the scale and the RX division, they can do deadlifts at that next weight for tiebreaker. For the beginners, they can do burpees as a tiebreaker. Now, the movements are different for each division. For the RX division and the Masters RX, they are snatching the weight. Okay, we'll talk about the standards for the snatch in a second. For the scaled division, they are doing a 2-rep ground to overhead. So what does that mean? If I'm a scaled competitor, I go into the weight here, I start at 155. I have to do 2 reps at 155 before I can move on. Then I move up 2 reps at 175. Move up 2 reps at 195. Okay? So it's basically the same thing. You just have to do 2 reps before you move to the next weight. With the beginner division, it's exactly the same. The only thing is the movement is different. They're doing a deadlift. So they do 2 reps at the deadlift at whatever weight they want to start out and move up from there. Your goal in that 1 minute is to lift the largest amount of load possible. Okay? And load is the weight of the bar times the number of reps that you lift it. Okay? Let's talk about the standards for the movements. So we're going to start over here with Mason. Let's just say that he is in the RX division. So he's going to start back here. Okay? We're going to go 3, 2, 1, go. He's going to run into the ladder here. So go ahead. Now with this snatch, he can power snatch it. Good. He can split snatch it. Good. He can squat snatch it. Good. Now a key point there is we want to wait until the judge gives the command for the athlete before he drops the bar. So the judge's hand will be up. When he says good, he'll drop his hand, then the athlete can drop the bar. This prevents athletes from rushing through, maybe not extending all the way or standing up all the way before they move on to the next lift. Okay, so you want to wait. What we're looking for on this is full extension. So the athlete's standing up, feet underneath their hips, knees, hips, and arms extended at the top. If you're doing the scaled version of this, athlete is doing a double rep, 2-rep ground to overhead. Good. Now, in this case, Mason is clean and jerking. You can power clean, you can squat clean, you can split clean, you can snatch, you can power snatch, you can whatever you want to wait to get. Whatever you want to do to get the bar from the ground to overhead is acceptable, as long as at the completion of the rep, the feet are underneath the hips and the weight's over the shoulders. On the deadlift piece, same thing. He's going to come in. Good. Good. Looking for full extension at the top, looking at extension of the knees and the hips. So what that means is, Mason, if you can turn sideways for us real quick with the bar. Okay, so if he stands up here, stand up, boom, and he is, bend your knees for me. So his hips are extended, but his knees are not extended. That is not a good rep. Okay, if his knees are extended, but his hips are not, that is not a good rep. We're looking for extension of the knees and hips at the top position here. Okay, that's a common thing with deadlifts. People try to short that movement. So make sure to come all the way up to the top. They do not have to lower the bar, but they have to make sure they hit a full extension before they drop the bar. Okay. Anything else you can think of? Questions? Yes?
For scale, do the 2 reps need to be touch and go?
No. So the question was, for scale, do the reps need to be touch and go? They do not. So they can do 1 rep, drop the bar, and then do it again. Yes? Yes. The question is, can you skip the weights? You can start at the very end if you'd like to. Okay, there's a little strategy here, and you're trying to get the most amount of load. My guess is probably if you could hit the last 5 weights, that would be probably the optimal path for this workout. Okay? Yes?
Can you do multiple reps at 1 weight and count it multiple times?
No.
Okay.
1 lift or 2 lifts, depending on the. So if you do 1 rep, you have to move to the next one.
Okay.
If you cannot do that, you can go to deadlifts on that rep.
Okay, and you can have as many attempts as you want.
Yes. Yep. So the question was, can you do multiple reps on a lower weight? You can if you are scaled or beginner, because you got to do 2 reps, but it only counts for 2 times that weight. You can't do any more than that to get extra load. Yes?
How much time in between each lift?
You have 1 minute from the very beginning.
Total time.
1 minute. So you go 1 minute, you're in the ladder.
Yeah.
So they really allow you to just have your own platform set up with all your
No.
weights.
It's a ladder. The bars are all laid out in front of you. So when you go in, you'll have a ladder of bars, and you get to pick where you start on it.
So there's going to be like 6 lanes all with the same load.
No.
So there's one lane. One person's going at a time. 3, 2, 1. You have 1 minute to get as many weights as you can in that total amount of ladders. There's not going to be different weights, different. There's going to be 1 ladder in a row. If you're snatching, 3, 2, 1, go. Stop. There. Go to the next weight. You can skip weights.
Like a heat, and there's going to be like 6 bars loaded.
No. There's 1 ladder for men, 1 ladder for women. You'll go 1 at a time. No. Think about it like
Okay,
think about it like
guys,
the grid.
Stop for a second. There's going to be 1 person on that ladder at all times, so you will not be competing with somebody else. When you start, you have 1 minute all by yourself on all those weights. So you will not have to worry about running into somebody. You will not have to worry about waiting on somebody else. You'll have 1 minute with all those bars that John listed to get as many as you can without dropping or going back on weight. You can get as far as you can. You can go and hit every other bar. You can go and hit the top 5 bars. You can only hit 3. That's your maximum load. But you will not be competing with somebody on that load. There'll be a women's ladder. There'll be a men's ladder. You'll be 1 person at a time.
Did that get your question?
Yeah.
That's the magic.
And then you just add up all the weight that you did.
Correct. Okay, so just for the logistics on this, what's going to happen is as you go through the ladder, so 1 person's going to go through the ladder, boom, 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 boom. When you get done, you'll walk over to the side with your judge. You'll actually go back to the judge's table. They will calculate your weight and input that at that time, and then you'll sign off on it. This is important because if you leave, your opinion no longer matters. Okay? So you need to stay with your judge until they calculate that and put it to the judge's score table, which will be there at the station for this. Okay? And they'll add it all up, everybody will sign off, and then we'll go from there. Questions? Yes?
For scaled and beginner, if you get 1 rep at the end of 1 minute.
It counts half. So your load is actually going to be 2 times whatever weight that you lift. The question was for scaled and beginner, since they're doing 2 lifts. So if I'm a beginner and I come in and I lift, let's just say 135, okay, and I do that once, that counts as 135. If I do it twice, that counts as 270. Okay, and then I move on to the next weight. So the scaled and beginner weights are going to be much larger than everybody else's. Won't be an apples-to-apples comparison against other divisions, but against their own division, it'll be fine. Yes.
Can scaled do 1 rep and then deadlifts if they can only get it 1 time and the weight still counts?
Sure. It'll count as a 0.1 addition to their weight. So it's just it would behoove them to try to get the other rep, but if they can only get 1 rep, they can do 0.1 added on to that. Yes?
Do they keep going up the ladder for the deadlift?
Correct. So the question is, they keep going up the ladder unless you go from beginning to end.
No, he meant the deadlift.
On the deadlift. So you fail on your attempt. Now you move over to deadlifts, I guess, or
Oh, no. You stay at the weight that you failed at. Sorry.
So just stay
So
at
this
the
is
mini
for,
reps
not
on
for
that
the
weight.
beginners, but for the RX and the scale.
right.
Okay.
So you just stand there.
Yep. So you keep doing as many deadlifts as you can in the remaining amount of time that minute.
At that same weight.
At that same weight, correct. You can't go beyond a weight that you can't lift. In other words, if you can't snatch it, you can't move up. If you do snatch it or hinge it, then you can go up.
Burpees instead? Yes.
Yeah, that's for beginners.
Standards.
Standards.
Standards on the burpees.
We'll talk about burpees a ton of times, but it's a standard burpee. We're going to cover this in some other things, but on the burpees, chest hits the ground, full extension at the top, must clap overhead at full extension. Feet must be off the ground. Chest hits the ground. Just chest.
Do you have to make an attempt to start deadlifting? Like if I'm at 95 and I know I can't do the next weight, can I deadlift at 95
Yes.
or do I have to go 10?
Yes.
Okay.
And that attempt will count as a deadlift. So
So
if you
I do
attempt
have
it
to
and then
go-
you go into a
so
deadlift,
If I make 95, I have to go deadlift at the next weight.
correct.
Okay.
So the question was, if she makes a weight, does she have to go forward? Yes, she has to go forward.
Just start with it.
Any more questions? All right. I think we got everything. That is individual WOD number 1, the arena. Thank you.